Welcome to the October 2019 episode of Reflections from WT, the heart and soul of the Texas Panhandle. My name is Randy Ray. I'm the Director of Broadcast Engineering, and I'm joined today by the 11th President of West Texas A&M, Dr. Walter Wendler.
Morning, Randy.
Good morning. Today's going to be kind of crazy because I want to talk to an architect and I want to talk to a veterinarian. And I want to see how we're going to pull those two together. So, Dr. Wendler, I want to start with you. Your background's in architecture. Tell us a little bit about your educational background.
Okay. I started school at a community college in New York, came from a family with 6 children and working parents, working stiffs. That my father would, he said, I'm a working stiff. That's what he would call himself. So we all went to community college, all 6 of us. And then I transferred from there. I studied construction technology, it was called, and I transferred from there to Texas A&M into the pre-architecture program. Spent 2 years there. Took a year off, worked for an architect and also for a constructor in New York. And then went to graduate school, got married, went to graduate school at Berkeley for my professional degree, my Master of Architecture. And after that, went to LSU in Baton Rouge, practiced and taught there, and then back to College Station. Took a break after a few years to take a PhD at the University of Texas, then came back to work.
Is your PhD in architecture?
No, it's in education.
Oh, it's
in education, yeah.
Had you always planned on teaching, or did you want to go into architecture full time?
No, I always thought I wanted to be an architect. I come from mostly, except for my dad, a family of tradespeople and a contractor that did some fairly interesting work in New York for an architect named Philip Johnson. He's one of the great 20th century American architects. AT&T building in New York, Pennzoil in Houston. I mean, big time architect. And he was the one that kind of got me interested in studying architecture. So, and I didn't think about teaching.
I was walking across campus a couple of days ago, and I had forgotten just how beautiful our campus is. It's like an oasis to me in the middle of the Texas Panhandle. And it's not just the trees and the green grass, but it's also the buildings. I think we really have some cool buildings. As an architect, speak about some of your favorite buildings on campus.
Well, we do have some, I think, some very nice buildings. The old Ed building, if we get around to refurbishing that building, I think that's going to be a very important building because it's near the center of the campus, and I think it's very nice. Ag Sciences is a nice building, and I may have told you this story before, but when I got here, and of course that was all done by previous administration, by Pat O'Brien and his group, and when I got here in time for the groundbreaking, 1 month before the groundbreaking. Well, at the groundbreaking, I see these 2 guys, and I recognize them, Steve Dorm and Wes Good. And they were my students at A&M in 1984. And as a matter of fact, I told Chancellor Sharp, I said, after I met him and we had all this kind of brouhaha about remembering old times and everything. And the Ag Sciences building is a very nice building. It's going to win a prize. I don't know what kind, but it will eventually win a prize. And we call them awards, not prizes, but same difference. I told Sharp that these 2 guys were my students. He kind of nodded his head. He said, that's interesting. So he got up to make his comments, and he said, we're starting this construction today, and if the building is screwed up, we know who to blame. These architects are Wendler trained. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, but it's always interesting and I know Paul knows this too, it's interesting when you're a faculty member and you see students succeed and they do something and you think, gosh, that's pretty nice. And I looked at that work, I've been watching it, and now I walk through it, and it's nice. They did a good job, I think. Few things. I told them once when I saw them not long ago that I'd probably ding them a few points on a couple of things, but by and large, they're very good. Very good.
When you and I took that trip to Nashville a couple of years ago when we were doing the partnership with Belmont, I met some of my old students that were actually working in the studios there, so it was kind of fun.
It's always interesting. And here we are, all of us, in professional disciplines, that require registration and some kind of public work. I mean, it's as much in some ways external as it is internal to the organization where you work, and it always is gratifying to see these neophytes come alive and do the things that you talked about, seeing them do, and it's just very satisfying. Very satisfying.
Do you have a favorite building on campus?
On campus, I'm going to tell you, I probably, after all that, probably like the Ag Sciences building as much as any. I
Yeah,
think it really is
yeah.
a nice facility.
It really is.
And I'm, of course, thankful to Happy State Bank. They were very helpful in that process. And I think these ones coming down the street, too, VERO and then TVMDL, have a nice feel to them. They look like agriculture buildings. They look efficient and all that. They have that kind of feel. But they're also very modern in terms of technology and all that. And I think they're great buildings. And if we get, which is still a goal of mine, to get the AgriLife Research Building between TVMDL and the water tower, there's one more building site down there that would fill up then Russell Long Boulevard on that side, on kind of the north side. I think we'll have a complex that would be hard to rival at any public institution, even any of the 50 land grants in the nation. It just, because everything is collected there that's related to the ag industry up here in the Panhandle. So I would say Ag Sciences, Happy State
Gonna be quite a
Ag
complex
Sciences
down there.
building, and a whole complex over there. Very nice.
Don't you feel a college campus that's really dynamic pretty much always has construction going on? It seems like it to me.
So, yeah, it's evidence of things that are moving forward.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think I have to be careful and not be consumed with it, especially because I'm an architect. I
Right,
mean, it's
yeah.
just, that's not why I'm here. I'm really here to provide educational opportunity for students, help them meet their life aspirations, which is a little different than making buildings. But making buildings is part of it, and it's a part that I happen to know a little bit about, and I enjoy. It's important. By the way, I'm also very excited about the way all of the ag facilities, even the football stadium, the whole campus now, we have that walking path.
Yeah, that's really cool, yeah.
I don't know what to call it other than it's not a sidewalk. It's a sidewalk on steroids. It's got lighting, and there's even places where you can stop and plug your computer in. I mean, there's, every one of those little pods has a computer power stations, and it's nicely lit at night. They're getting all the sod in over there. It's like being in a park.
I agree. And one thing I like is how excited you are about spreading the word about WT and things like the new ag building and our new stadium. So you got a big tour coming up.
Well,
Tell me about that.
Yeah, we've started already. We visited every high school in the top 26 counties of Texas, and that was as much for me to understand the region and the geographic influences, the push and pull, as anything else. But it would turn out to be very positive for me. But there's also this positive spin-off of having people out there recognize that WT is interested in them. And I've continued that tour. We've started now down south. And for example, yesterday I was at, I have to think about it for a minute, but I was at a number of different schools. I went to, started the day in Floydada, went on to Lockney, and then ended at Idalou High School yesterday. So we went to those three high schools, all different sizes.
Pretty small.
Pretty
Pretty
small.
small, yeah.
They're growing, and of course, one of the things as they grow, they lose some of the small town. I consider it charm. There's a certain kind of grittiness in these small towns. These people are tough. Ag is a tough industry to be in, whether you're raising animals or crop. It's tough. It's a very unforgiving industry, and these towns now are becoming suburban in some ways because many of these are fairly close to Lubbock, so they're becoming suburban communities, and it changes the nature of the community. And I'm not sure always for the best. This is not like on Walden Pond or anything, but there is something about being in the ground out there that can be lost when you get urbanized and suburbanized. So, and I went to Ropes High. Well, actually, probably New Home was the one. It's close, and it's more than doubled in the list. It's a school that's more than doubled. They're very proud. They're going from 1A to 2A next year. Their population has grown so. And the student population has doubled in 5 years. And they are concerned that they're going to lose some of that small town feel. And I share that. I think there's something very kind of valuable about serving these small communities. Of course, the WT 125 from the Panhandle to the World, that whole program that view of the future for West Texas A&M University is biased or bent towards small communities. We want to serve small communities first because it makes us distinctive. So that's what we're doing down there now, and I'm running ragged. I've been to, I think, 14 schools.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they appreciate it. I don't know if they've ever had a university president come to visit before.
Well, I don't think they have. Most of the ones that I've been to, some of them, Wilson ISD. I say ISD, it's one building and it's everything, pre-K through 12. And I think they had 7 or 8 seniors and maybe twice that many juniors. And their lunch program consists of somebody running to a pizza place or a hamburger joint and getting the food and bringing it back to the camp. And they have to go to Lubbock. I mean, there's no place right there to do it. But they're small communities and they're very endearing to me. And I find the students are thoughtful and respectful. They ask good questions. The teachers there and the superintendents, many of them WT, not as many as up here in the Panhandle, but it is very affirming to me that what we're doing here is important, to get out there and talk to people. I think, gosh, we're doing the right thing here.
Yeah, those are the people we want at WT.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to switch gears. We're going to switch gears from an architect, and we're going to talk to a veterinarian, and we're going to talk about some exciting new things that are going to happen right here on the WT campus. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
West Texas A&M University is proud to call the Texas Panhandle home, and providing the top 26 counties with opportunity and qualified graduates is an important WT mission. From their first experience on campus to graduation day, the WT experience is a challenging series of steps that will embolden our students to reach their full potential, and then, in turn, go out into the Panhandle and make a difference. Quality education with a big local return is one thing you can find here at WT. For more information about West Texas A&M University, visit our website at wtamu.edu.
Welcome back to Reflections from WT, the heart and soul of the Texas Panhandle. Earlier, I was talking to an architect, and now I'm going to talk to a veterinarian. Earlier, we were talking about all the construction that's going on campus, and one of those things is our new VERO building. And I have the Director of Research for the VERO program with me, Dr. Paul Morley. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you.
First of all, what does VERO stand for?
Stands for Veterinary Education, Research, and Outreach, and it's the 3 arms of the mission of our program. That's a real partnership between WT and we're part of the faculty here, but we're also part of the faculty at the Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine.
So did you come here specifically for that?
I did. I was in a faculty position. First faculty position was at Ohio State, and then I spent 20 years at Colorado State, and I thought I would retire there. The folks from College of Veterinary Medicine came and knocked on my door and started talking to me about this program, and it really was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So very grateful to be here. It's a great opportunity.
Well, I was talking to you this morning, and you said that you've been in Canyon since January, is it?
That's correct.
And you were raised in Nevada.
That's correct.
Is it similar at all?
It is, actually. I was raised in a rural town in northeastern Nevada called Elko, and much like a lot of places in Texas, there's heavy emphasis on agriculture, and then there's also industry, and then there it's mining, but in here a lot of petroleum and other types of industry, but very similar town of about 10,000 people.
Terrain, is the terrain similar?
That's different. That's high desert plateau with mountains that go up quite a ways.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we don't have mountains. Have
no.
you discovered that?
Well, you had more rain than we did where I grew up. So how's that?
That evens it out, I guess. So tell me about the 2+2 program. What is that?
Well, that's a new initiative that was announced, formalized. We've been talking about it for 10 years, but it was formalized through announcements with Dr. Wendler and Dr. Green and President of Texas A&M, Dr. Young. Dr. Green is the Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine, and just 3 weeks ago, made the public announcement about the fact that we're going to expand the training program for the College of Veterinary Medicine, where we'll actually have veterinary students that start their educational program here in here on the campus of WT. There'll be College of Veterinary Medicine at Texas A&M students, but they'll spend the first 2 years of that 4-year program here, and then they'll return to College Station to the mothership, if you will, for a 3rd year, and then they have opportunity to come back for as much as about half of their 4th year to come back out here.
So is that the clinical rotation part?
The 4th year, yes, is a clinical experience-based
So they're just out
training.
working pretty much. And it's
Yeah,
like
under-
on-the-job training.
Yes, under the supervision of veterinarians who are faculty at the College of Veterinary Medicine. It's an important distinction about the model that they're planning here compared to some other programs where they would pay veterinarians to effectively train students in their practice. We'll have what we are terming an embedded program, where we will have faculty that are hired here. They are VERO faculty that are specialists in training as well as in veterinary medicine, and they will go with those students into the practices and out into the agriculture facilities and that for the training, as opposed to depending on someone else.
Paul, let me ask you. I don't usually ask questions, but this program is so important to me, and I'm curious. How many vets do we have on campus now at West Texas A&M University that basically work for the College of Veterinary Medicine in College Station?
Dr. Wendler, we have a total of 4 veterinarians right now, and then we're in the process of interviewing for a 5th position, and we have, because of funding generously provided by the legislature, we're talking about another 3 or 4 additional veterinarians, in addition then to the faculty positions that would be part of the agriculture school, but we will partner again. So our faculty will be helping with the College of Agriculture teaching, both in undergrad and graduate, and their faculty will be helping us provide the very best training for our students.
By the way, this is a remarkable university partnership. I've been around university. I started at LSU in 1975. I'm not a kid, and I've never seen quite the partnership that this is between an international research university at Texas A&M and a powerful regional research university that serves the needs of this region. And one of the primary needs is the large food animal industry. And we produce beef and pork and dairy. I mean, there is a huge industry up here. And this is something that Texas A&M University doesn't have. We're in the middle of all this. We're right smack dab in the middle of it, and that provides almost endless opportunities for us to work with producers, with growers, with people that are in the business. But can you say a word about that? I mean, how that fuels this program?
Sure. It is a huge strength. I mean, this is truly one of the most prominent epicenters of agriculture, animal agriculture in particular, right here. Within an hour and a half drive from Canyon, staying within the borders of Texas, there's 2.5 million beef cattle that are being finished. In addition to about 300,000 dairy cows. It's part of one of the 5 most prominent pork producing areas as well. And so that partnership is really critical. The people who are as part of those programs, they're very invested in what we're doing. The veterinary colleges really throughout the world, but let's talk about North America in particular. Many of them, or most of them, are over 100 years old, or about 100 years old. Texas A&M is 103 years old. And when those colleges were started, they were placed where there were animal populations, large animal agriculture populations. And as 100 years has passed, most of those schools are not where the agricultural animals are concentrated or located. So it makes it difficult to train into those programs. So this is a problem around the country and around the world. And I think Texas A&M's model for addressing this really is the best one that I've seen. And the fact that we're starting within the A&M system, so it's not trying to partner with somebody else or go out and build bricks and mortar in a field somewhere where there's nothing else located. We are already partnering with an established, strong university. So that being located as part of the program out here, it's just so many strengths. It really is unique, and I think it's going to be looked at by the whole world.
It just makes sense. Makes common sense to me to put it here.
I think people understand it.
All right. Well, it's that time. Are you
Uh-oh.
ready?
Yeah, I'm
It's
ready.
time for the Dr. Morley. We always do a curveball. I always throw Dr. Wendler and our guest a curveball. So here's the curveball for today. If we were to make a movie about the new VERO program, what actor would you guys like to play you?
Me?
Yeah. What actors do
Walter
you want to
Wendler?
get to play Dr. Walter Wendler, Dr. Paul Morley?
Oh my gosh, that is a real curveball.
I got you.
Yeah,
Finally.
you did.
Yeah.
You did. Well, you go ahead first, Paul. You're my guest. I'll be a gentleman and
What
let you
actor?
go
Oh, well,
first.
What actor
there's very
would you
few
like
people
to-
that could pull off my whole character, right?
Yeah, that's right,
So
that's right.
maybe Tom Hanks could do it.
Tom Hanks.
His
That's not a bad-
intelligence, his humor.
He's playing
you know.
Mr. Rogers, so
Yes.
he could be Dr. Morley too.
Yep, there you go.
Dr. Wendler, we're waiting.
Yeah, I know you are. I'll tell you the truth. I liked Daniel Day-Lewis in a number
Yep,
of movies, in
he's a good one.
particular in Lincoln for some reason,
Yeah.
because I think he captured, to me, how would I know? I don't know. I've read a number of books about Lincoln. I'm a little bit of a student of history. But I think he captured this sort of combination of grit and persistence and adherence to some ideas and principles that he owned.
Yeah.
I think Lewis captured that in Lincoln, and I'd like to think I have a little bit of some of that, and maybe he could, what didn't exist, he could kind of juice it up and manufacture it for
Well,
the movie.
he's a real method actor, so he would actually become Dr. Walter Wendler for a few months before he even shot the movie.
That's a frightening thought right there, but anyway.
Yeah, somebody. I was thinking about this. I think I'd like to get Denzel Washington to be me. I don't know how well that would work, but I think he's one of my favorite actors. So I don't know if that works.
Sounds like a power team, you know,
Yeah,
those
that
three
does.
actors.
Get all
right?
three in one movie, and we'd have it made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being here. I think it was a fun morning, and I learned a lot. And I'm excited about the VERO program and all the construction going on campus. It's very dynamic, very exciting time at WT.
We are too. Thank you.
And I appreciate both of you being here. Please join us again next time for the November 2019 episode of Reflections from WT, Heart and Soul of the Texas Band.